What should the president do about North Korea, do you think, just as a student?
He needs to be strong. America's been weak going back to the Jimmy Carter era. Now, North Korea, we fought a war. Do you remember that? A Korean War?
Yeah.
And the war has never really been settled.
No.
You know, I mean, they had that demilitarized zone.
Yes.
And look at the difference between communism, which has beat its people on the ground. You know, there's stories that they've killed millions of their own people. There's famine all the time. And look how prosperous South Korea is. I mean, aren't most of our smartphones made in South Korea? And how many South Korean car companies are over here now? I mean, I've been to South Korea 3 times, and it's a very prosperous country. So, but what happened with North Korea is that we have taken this attitude of we'll talk, but we won't do anything. And you know what? There's this whole thing about good cop and bad cop. You know, sometimes you got to keep your enemy a little bit off guard. They don't know exactly what you're going to do. And I think that that's what Trump is doing. No, there's no way that North Korea could beat us in a war. There's no way. All they could do is explode a bomb and kill a bunch of our people, kind of like 9/11, you know, that type of thing. And of course, we don't want that to happen at all. The scary thing is if it pulled the world into a nuclear war.
Right.
That would be much, much bigger than just North Korea. But I believe that North Korea will back down. I really do. And I think that we'll be surprised in what Trump is able to accomplish. You know, we're also concerned about South Korea, and we as Christians have an additional concern because South Korea is half or more than half Christian.
Yes.
Some of the greatest churches in the world are there.
Yes.
So as our brothers and sisters, and they are so close. I mean, Seoul, which is a huge, huge city, is like 10 minutes by air from North Korea.
Absolutely.
And it's mostly the it's mostly the South Koreans who would bear the brunt of a horrible war.
Yes.
But you know what? Look at this. China has now backed down. You know, China wasn't doing anything until Trump got tough with them.
That's right.
And look, didn't he have the president of China having dinner down there at Mar-a-Lago?
Yes, he
And
did.
he just happened to mention at the end of dinner that he just dropped the biggest bomb in history on Syria. And
I think they were eating dessert, right?
that's right.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was a brilliant move. First of all, it was probably needed militarily in Syria, but also it makes the Chinese wonder, are they going to do that to us as well?
Do either one of you study the health care plan?
You know, really what they wanted was the people who proposed this is they wanted single payer health insurance like they have in Canada and England, which is a mess. If you know anybody over there, I mean, first of all, you can't even get an appointment for long periods of time. You can't get operations for a long period of time. We would have that here. We have the best medical help. You know, the problem is that our costs are just absolutely out of control for hospitals, for doctors, for medication. And Obamacare doesn't really cover all that. And, you know, there are a lot of people who aren't covered who need insurance. You know, would to God they would all have insurance. Hopefully they would be able to afford the insurance and get it. We want that. But let's let the free market do that and not just look to the government to give us one more government handout that is going to, I mean, how many $1 trillion are we already in debt? And at some point, we've got to get a handle on that, or it's just going to get worse and worse.
Will the debt just explode on us at some point? Some believe we're even going to have a crash someday because this market keeps going higher and higher, and we have so much debt.
It is scary. You're right. However, there are forces at work that we don't really understand, and America is very resilient, and there are a lot of people who have a lot to lose if the whole thing implodes. And so because of that, they're motivated to work something out.
Why are there so many rich, super rich billionaires that are really anti-American or at least anti what Mr. Trump's trying to do?
Well, it's birds of a feather flock together, and there have been a few well-known elites on the left, and they have started influencing others and influencing others and influencing others. Plus, listen, there's been a lurch to the left in our country, really ever since World War II. But we've got to change something. We've got to get something going. And I am optimistic. I'm optimistic in this. I've answered the question in different ways that I believe that Trump will drain the swamp, and I believe that somehow we'll get a handle on this financial crisis.